Steve from Disney Diary here. I have a little roundtable with some friends from MousePros Travel Agency, and we're going to talk about coming back to Disney World and some of the issues that you're going to be dealing with and some of the ways and tips that we've experienced, all three of us, in coming back. So let's just introduce the roundtable and start off with Heather, if you would.
Sure. I'm Heather Storey, and I've been with MousePros Travel Agency for like 5 years now. I love Disney. I love all things Disney. I've been going since I was too small to remember going. And I'm a big champion of the spicy chicken waffle sandwich at Sleepy Hollow in Magic Kingdom. Woo woo, everybody needs to try it.
I'm Emily Milligan, and I live just outside of Atlanta, Georgia. We are annual pass holders, so we visit the parks often, and I've been with MousePros for about 5 years as well. I think Heather and I might have started right around the same time. So we visit often. We go at least 2 or 3 times a year. We've done Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line. We're working our way around all of the cruise ships. And my favorite snack is the African street corn in Animal Kingdom. It is amazing. And if I ever go to the parks, I have to stop at Animal Kingdom and get my corn. It's amazing.
That's great. That's great. So you've been back since it's reopened. I go constantly, not as much as I used to. And there's been a lot of changes taking place. We have the social distancing, we have the face masks, we've got the increased wait times. But I think the one thing that, at least that's big to me, that's changed that I want to talk about is eating. Now, Disney calls it dining. I call it eating because that's what I like to do. So, Emily, why don't you start off with what's the biggest change that people need to realize about dining at Disney now?
So with dining at Disney, you have to become very familiar with the My Disney Experience app. If you're doing any kind of quick service, eating in the parks, you have to put in a mobile order through the app. So you have to be familiar, one, with where to go on the app in order to put your order in. And then most of the restaurants aren't letting you into the restaurant until your order is ready for pickup. So that's been kind of the biggest change, is making sure that you're using that app. And when you're using the app, if you're staying at a resort, you're not using your Magic Band to check out each transaction. So you're actually doing the purchase through the app. You know, you can use Apple Pay or the credit card that's on file for your My Disney Experience app, but you're using that as individual transactions. So you don't want to wait until the last minute to decide what you want to eat, and then everybody's hungry and looking at the app, you know, over one person's shoulder trying to pick, you know, what to eat for 5 people. So I think that was the biggest change for us.
Now, also, now, Heather, when you went, what about table service?
Yeah, so table service was really different. Getting a reservation was really hard because of the decreased capacity. They just didn't have as many reservations out there. So getting the reservations was really hard, even harder than usual. And you know, that's always the reservation system has always been kind of, you know, one of those things. It's like, you know, Hunger Games, may the odds be ever in your favor, you know. And it was, that was frustrating because you couldn't get one. But then they did start offering the walk up. And what I noticed is if you were eating outside of prime times, and I don't know, I was born at like 70 years old, so I'm an early morning person. I like to eat lunch at like 11 a.m. and I like to eat dinner at like 4 p.m. And so walk-up times were great. Like I couldn't get a reservation, but I could get walk-up times really easy. But like, you know, if you came in prime time, then there was nothing. So, you know, that I really liked, that you could get walk-up. But for me, the reservation system was really just as frustrating, just because of the reduced capacity.
Now, and there's no dining plan.
No, that was frustrating.
So how does that impact, or have you seen that impact a lot of people?
Mm-hmm. What for me, the thing, so for our trip in August, I wanted the dining plan really bad because we were going with older teenagers. It was a high school graduation trip. and they wanted to be able to go and do their own thing. And so I wanted the dining plan just so they could, get their dining credits, eat whatever they want to eat wherever they are and not need to worry about it. Um, and you can do that even on the app. Like if you have a dining plan, that was something they were instituting, that you could use your dining plan even through mobile order, which was great. But once they took the dining plan away, you didn't have that anymore. So then it just, there was more that you had to plan for. And like for us, we save for our Disney trips with Disney gift cards. So we get there and we put all that money on our account so we can just, charge with our magic bands for whatever food we want to eat. And nobody has to worry about anybody else. But that means you have to go into the restaurant to order, because that's not an option. You can't charge to your room on the app for mobile order. So that was a big and the first we'd go to a restaurant and be like, well, we want to charge to our room. And the cast members would look at each other and be like, they're not allowed in, are they? They can't go in. And finally, we talk after talking to a few people. Yes, you can go in and order, but it's not easy. And, so you just have to be prepared for that. Now you can use gift cards to pay through the app, just like a credit card, but we didn't know that before we went. So we put them all on the room. So we just kind of, put ourselves in that. But that's just one thing to know. You can still use those gift cards, just don't put them on your room, pay for everything through the app.
Now, Emily, there's been a big problem with just finding enough food sometimes. At least the experience I had is that quick service, it's either quick service because table service, you couldn't, as you mentioned, Heather, you couldn't get any advanced reservations. So they started something new. And when I was at Animal Kingdom, it was great because they started with Sanaa, where you could actually do menu to go. At that time, it wasn't on the app, but they've started now. Emily, have you worked with that, or are you telling people about how that works?
Not yet, but I will be there in 2 weeks, and so I plan to use it then. But when I was there the week after everything opened back up. Okay. So not the initial week when only the 2 parks were open, but right after everything opened, that 3rd week in July. So everything was really new. Nobody really knew how to handle a lot of things. And so dealing with the quick service, I think, was probably the first step of this. And then now adding in these full menus for the table service restaurants, like that's going to be really neat to come in and order something like bread service.
Now, the menus are limited. At least that's what I found. I don't know what you did.
I did feel that a lot of even the quick service restaurants, you weren't getting a wide variety of what they had to offer. A lot of places did have a very limited menu. And I don't know if that's like a supply and demand kind of thing. Maybe they don't want to order a ton of different types of foods and have that on hand when they're not at full capacity. So maybe as the parks become more busy and and capacity moves up a little bit more, maybe we can start seeing different food items on the menu as restaurants are opening as well.
So the one thing I thought about was that the table service, the limited menu, I thought, maybe it's my imagination, I thought the food was better.
Yes, I agree. I definitely agree.
Okay, all right. Not just me. The food is better.
It is better. It is better. And we were able to try restaurants as well that Topolino's Terrace at Riviera had opened up, I think, right before the closure. And so we hadn't had a chance to visit it beforehand. And so we were able to try breakfast there. We did the character breakfast, which was different than a normal character breakfast. So you're looking at characters aren't stopping at your table. You're not getting autographs on hand, but they are doing the little parades. They danced around. And I feel like they came out more times than what you would have seen during a normal character meet and greet pre-COVID. So they did, I think it was about 2 rounds that they would come through. They dance, they stand far enough back for you to take a very quick selfie, but not so much a posed picture together. And then you would get an autograph card from the restaurant as well. Yeah. Which I do have one, actually. I have Riviera.
Nice.
And then the autographs are here on the back. So that was something that you received, in place of having an actual character meet and greet, sign your autograph book. So that was nice to have a little keepsake to take home.
And what, Heather, anything else about food? Any other, I mean, not all of the carts were opened, and they're opening them sporadically. They just did the spring roll one.
Spring rolls, yes, everybody's very excited about spring rolls.
Excited about that. They're starting slowly to do a whole bunch of new ones. Is there anything that people need to be aware or should be watching out for when they go?
I think I would just, don't be afraid to walk up. And of course, now they have that on the app where you can look for walk up times, which is really good. And don't be afraid to try a restaurant maybe you didn't try. So, like for me, one of the biggest changes for food, which was awesome, and it goes to like what you were saying. I hadn't eaten at Tony's Town Square for a very long time, just because I don't know, I just never, like a long time ago, ate there and just it didn't hit me. It just was not seem like worth what I was paying. And we ended up being able to get like a last minute reservation at Tony's Town Square. And it was really good. Like the food was so well prepared. It was well cooked. It was flavorful. It wasn't like just all salty or all sugary. It was just really well done. And I'm so glad, because honestly, if other reservations had been available, I would not have eaten there. And it was like, oh, maybe this is a good change. So that for me was like, don't be afraid to try those things that you wouldn't normally try. Because like you said, I feel like they're better.
I want to thank you both. Thank you, Heather. Thank you, Emily. And if we have gone over some things that you have more questions of, or if you'd like to hear more topics, put it in the comments. We will get back to you, or we will do this again with you guys, you two, or other people, and see how it goes. So, Heather, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Emily, thank you. And for everyone, have a great day. We'll get back to you later.